Hola, beautiful people. How you doing, everyone? I just talked to all of you guys in person, but still. We're gonna get started. We want to get started on time because it's a limited time for everything that we're doing here. But I want to make sure that we thank you guys for coming out and supporting the cause. This is our first heading into Wingwood Style in person. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys for joining us today and putting in your input on healing and your journeys and just helping everybody else with their journeys as well, because they're definitely gonna get some gems from you guys. So I very much appreciate that. Can you guys each individually present yourself and just kind of tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Oh, hey. Oh.
Hi. Hey, I am Tyra. I'm the creator of Beautiful Weirdos. I do custom jewelry, but I'm also an accountability partner. So I guide Black women on how to rewrite that shit. And that shit is your story. If you have challenges with setting boundaries, saying no, putting yourself first, things like that. So that's who I am, is what I do.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Xavier Cooper. I am a chiropractor, also an animal chiropractor. I am the owner of Prolific Chiropractic. I'm just getting started now. Also hold space for men for healing at Masculine Alchemy with a couple brothers as well. So yeah, that's pretty much all it is. And I'm also a Dallas native. So.
Hey yo, what up, good people? My name is Dr. Ashley Wade. I am a pharmacist, the owner of ADH Pharmacy Consulting. So I spend time with folks who want to transfer from Western to holistic medicine or therapies. I'm also a podcast host, an author, and a magic sprinkler, I guess you can say.
Yes.
So I kind of help guide people into their elevated state. So chat more about that later.
Let's see. Good morning, everyone. My name is Byron Gaddy. I'm a Jackson, Mississippi native. I'm a board member of a male Bible study group, non-traditional Bible study group called Kingdom Men DFW. And seeker of peace, I guess that's the best way to put it. What up, what up, what up?
Clap it up for Brian.
All right, y'all. My name is Lyric. I'm a poetic expressive artist. My journey began during a very crucial point in my life where I was going through a lot of transitions. So my writing and things that I do, my songwriting and everything else that I do starts at the base of healing, self-care and self-love. I'm also an author, recording artist, a mother, you know what I'm saying? A dope ass community advocate. But yeah, I like to have fun, I like to enjoy myself, but I do like to promote healing at the core. Because I feel like if we're not healing, we just not growing. And that's just important to me. So I'm here to, you know, let's vibe out with all these dope ass panelists. And we're gonna give y'all some tips and all kinds of stuff that we can do to make sure that we're showing up for ourselves.
How y'all doing? My name is Stan Zai. I'm a poet, I'm an artist, I'm a recording artist as well though too. I'm also a teacher with the A-Live Big Thoughts, well too, teach poetry. I'm on my way to Louisiana, Alexandria, Louisiana. And I'm also a community activist as well too. My art in all the forms pretty much deals with the self-healing, self-expression, and being able to deal with, you know, what is in your shadows and being able to put that to light though too as well though too. A lot of times it's peace and love and it's light all the time, but you gotta be able to walk in that dark side though too in order to get to that light. So they gotta coexist.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Just really quick, just because I don't want a lot of feedback. You guys hold your mic up here. You two can share that mic, you two can share that mic, and you guys can share that mic. Okay, so one of the things that I was thinking about when I was choosing the panel for this season, I mean, every season, this is our third season, and we were able to get this show up in a venue way faster than my other shows, but I think it's a really good one for us to continue to evolve because healing is so important for so many of us, especially if we want to do it. If we're like people that are in that type of brain kind of mind stand and you know what we want to really do with our lives and how we want to continue to grow. So I've known these people for quite some time, and even if I haven't, I think you guys are all very involved in your healing with amongst yourselves and then with other people. So I definitely appreciate you guys. I think you guys all have a mind that definitely needs to be explored. So let's get into the first topic. I want to start with Tyra. Tyra and Dr. Ashley Wade are one of my panelists that have been here since season 1. So clap it for them because they're so supportive and they've been here since the beginning and their mind really, they give me gems and I give them gems and I feel like that's such a rewarding thing. So thank you. But Tyra, tell us about topic 1, which is the art of journaling. I know that's something that's close to you.
Hello. This thing loud. So the art of journaling, like I said, I guide Black women on how they can rewrite this shit, and it's really your own personal story, like your own personal journey. So for me, journaling became like a therapy when I was in like the lowest state I have ever been. I was broke. I was sleeping on my friend's air mattress. I just moved to Dallas and had shit. And I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I couldn't afford a therapist. You know, I could call Ashley, like, hey girl, can't afford you. You know, I couldn't do that. I didn't know about coaching or anything like that. So I just started writing out all of my thoughts. And I started healing myself in a way that I now show other people how, and it's so simple. I started with small things like writing down 2 things every day that brings me joy. I hated my job. I had a job, so that would be one. Then I had to realize it got to be something outside of that. So if I'm at work, so to say, someone says, "Oh, I like your shirt." Oh, I write it down, or I get a coupon for something for free. You know, I started finding joy and acknowledging it, and when I did that, it's like more came to me. Then I just started playing with being more intentional with journaling, figuring out how to make my thoughts and words, how to get them off that paper and to bring it to my reality. So it became just a part of my everyday life. So for me, the art of it is all about you writing your life out, your story out, but keeping it within your capacity. Don't fall victim to seeing what's shown on social media or victim to comparison. And you're like, oh, I want this, I want that, but we ain't there yet mentally. We can't even look at ourselves and be happy. So how can we go out and get all these things when we're not happy at home? So for me, the art of journaling is all about you holding yourself accountable, and moving within your means, moving within your capacity, and just take steps every day to get better and better, and just continue the process. Be consistent, focus on the habit and practice of journaling instead of the goal. Like, let me just do this every day and see how I feel. Writing out all the good things about myself, writing out the dreams and desires that I'm working on currently and the ones that I'm gonna get and how I'm gonna make that happen. And also, I do wanna say this, when it comes to journaling, it's a thing that I do, I'm just gonna put it out there if you guys wanna try. I date every journal entry and I do timestamps, cause it's like, let me see. I sign every positive entry. For me, that's a contract.
Yes.
If I put my name on it, it's like, okay, this is gonna happen. I do separate my journal. I used to not when I was on the air mattress. I was writing everything in one journal, and one day I was having a good fucking day, y'all. You know, you having one of those like, oh, it's so good today, even though life is not where you want it to be. It's like, oh, it's so good, and I opened my journal to a day when I wasn't so happy or in a good space, and it made me like want to go back there. So that's what helped me separate. So I separate. I have journals for certain things. So if I want to dump, I'm gonna pick up that one. You know, I don't have time to mix the energies.
Yes.
So yeah, those are my tips. I would say sign every positive entry, separate the journals, you know, separate it, keep all the energies separate. Yeah, and just write it out and be okay if a journal entry is just one word. You know, if all you get is the date, that's all right. You know, you tried, you did it, and you just celebrate that. So yeah, and rewrite that shit every day.
Every day. Tara, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What do you think about writing to your little self?
Oh, that's always emotional.
Yeah.
So, I like it. I do this practice, y'all. You guys can take it. It's similar to that. So it's you having a conversation with yourself. So you start this journal prompt with Tyra, and then whoever you're talking to, it could be 10-year-old. We're gonna have a conversation, and I appreciate it because I ever since I started doing that, I can tell that it unlocks more and more. And I'm thinking I got over that already. And it's like, well, you ain't there yet, and it's okay. But I enjoy doing it. It's an emotional process, but I think it's needed. It's a great way to stay connected. Because now I'm trying to play more. And in order to do that, I need to get to know whichever age that I need to unlock or get some blocks, get through them. Yeah, so I just talk to them. Right, Tyra and 10-year-old Tyra, or this experienced Tyra, like, let's have a conversation. And if y'all try it, it's gonna seem weird at first, that you're talking to yourself, but you actually start to the conversation just starts going, and you're like, what the fuck, like, where's all this coming from? But it gets out, because it's been stuck for so long, so.
Yeah.
I support that, and I appreciate it. It's emotional, but what is it, like, life is like that.
Yeah, and it helps to get that emotion out and then just, get it on paper and release it. I was just telling my sister the other day that, with when I need to like break up or not even with like a person that I'm dating, right? With like a family member or a friend or anything like that I need to break up with them in some kind of way or whatnot, I write them a letter. And even if they don't get it, they, I got it out and I got to tell them what I needed to release or whatnot. So thank you for sharing the different types of journals that you can have and stuff and what that does to you. Let me ask you about, topic number 3, cultivating gratitude. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay, so the self-compassion it's always hard. I'm one of those, like, I'm so hard on myself when I shouldn't be. It's like, I need to, show myself more grace, and in order to do that, I had to start being more intentional in my relationship with God. I've been saying this for a while now, like, when I used to talk to God every day, like, intentionally, being like, we having a conversation, things was like, moving, and then I got comfortable. You know, like, I'm good, we're fine. And it showed me, like, well, you're not, like, you can't do all this by yourself. So my gratitude practice is now being so intentional in making sure I have those conversations. And there are conversations, I'm not asking for nothing, I'm not saying, I'm just talking. Like, I just wanna express, like, I am grateful for this lived experience I can have. I said it the other day, I'm from Louisiana, small town, I'm from Monroe, Louisiana, I don't know if y'all know. Monroe, you don't know Monroe? You from Monroe? Oh, see, okay. Now this. Okay, so I'm from Monroe, from a small town, it's a great town, it's home, it's a small town. And anytime I do something, even something like this, I'm always like, I'm so grateful that a girl from the hood can sit here and do this, or be an example for other people, because I never saw that. Like, I never saw any example of any of this, you know? So I always try to be in the moment when it happens and just acknowledge it. So I would say that my gratitude practice, and what I would encourage, is just when it happens, just acknowledge it in the moment. Just like if you think about somebody, just send them a text right then. Like, I don't want nothing, I'm just thinking, do it in the moment, because for me, it kind of, not speeds up the process, but it just gets it started. It's like, okay, I'm grateful that I'm able to walk into this building, or I'm grateful I can go do this, or whatever it is that you are grateful for, just express it at that time. And just make it a consistent practice. That's what I would say. It's been cool with me. I'm getting better, I would say that. Because I think we all get comfortable at a time. Like, especially when things are going good, you get a little comfortable and you're like, I don't need to do it as much, but I think that's something you have to always, like, it's never gonna stop. Yeah.
My bad, y'all, do extra things. Okay, so, topic number 4 is creative expressions for healing. What do you think about that?
Oh, I love it. Fashion is mine.
Yes, girl, we could tell.
Top tier, top tier. Let me tell you, this is what I feel. I feel like you are the canvas and the clothes are paint.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a fuck nobody say. If I put it on, they be like, I don't like that. I didn't put it on for you. This made me feel good. I walked that house and said, I like it, and that's all that matters. So, for me, creative expression is beautiful. Everybody, especially black people, listen, we can come out and be like, yep, you did it, and I appreciate it, and do it again. So it's all about fashion creativity on my end. I'm down for trying anything, putting it on. I don't care. It could be the hat. I was about to wear a top hat. I was about to put that on, and then I said, you know what? Because let me tone it down. But I think creative expression is needed. If not, we'll like combust. Like, you need to express yourself, whether you're a poet, a writer, a singer, musician. You a magician? Y'all remember they asked me, are you a magician? I'm sorry. But I feel like whatever it is, you should have that outlet, because that's what keeps us going. If you don't have any outlet, I think that's when you stop like existing and living, because you're like, what am I gonna do? I just work and I just do this, and it's like, well, there's so much more in life that you can do. You can like spark creativity just by like walking outside, So I'm all down for it.
Cross a path with somebody and then it just triggers something else.
Yes.
You could be that trigger for someone. Just like a specific tip that you would give someone to possibly like implement that you do specifically, like one of your favorite things.
Y'all, honestly, I just say jump off the porch. And that ain't for everybody, but that's so specific to me. I just feel like just go. All someone can say, when I say someone, this is like for the world, all I can say is no, and then you can say, let me figure out another way. I just say go after whatever it is. Just, if you know you're capable, just do it. You just don't know what can happen. I feel like we stop ourselves before we try. We don't even try. We're just like, oh, it won't work, or they're not gonna listen to me, or who am I to try to do? Oh my God, just do it. You doing all that. You could have just said what you need to say, show up how you need to show up, and go from there. Let's see how God and the universe align things. When you start putting in action behind that faith, God be like, oh, we were just talking how you said, you were download. And it's like, God will say, you asked for all of this, now it's time to practice, and then you don't want to practice.
Yes.
So you ain't gonna get nothing else for a while.
Yeah.
Now you're back. So I say just go out, like just jump off the porch and go out there. Just trust in yourself enough. We trust in all these other things so much more than we trust in ourselves. We can order something from Walmart, we know we gonna get it. We's coming, Amazon 2-day Prime. But when we want to do something, we just doubt ourselves so much. Like, you're not gonna do this. We're not gonna. That's crazy. So I say just start by trusting yourself, whatever that looks like, because it's different for everybody. So,
Yeah,
I
stop
those-
being your biggest critic.
yeah.
Just shut that shit down. Okay, so number 8 is the power of community. How do you feel about community?
Okay, I love it. I recently, 2023 is when I really started focusing on. I didn't know it happened accidentally that community became a thing. So I moved to Mexico in 2023. And when I moved, I was like, you have to start completely over. You don't know anybody, you have to really build like community. What it showed me is that when you remove yourself from your familiar environment and you're somewhere else, you have to be more mindful of who you share your energy with. Because when you're in a different space, sometimes people just want something because they like, we ain't got it, we need it.
You feel like new energy.
Yeah, it's like new energy, we need it. But it showed me how important community is. Like having people around that you can pour into, that can also pour back. When I moved there is when I saw it, because it's here, we're so accessible to our community. It's like, we know they're gonna be there, we got them, we this. But when you go to another country with someone like so many of you, Black people, you start to see how, oh, this is how you really nurture a connection instead of we've been friends for 10 years and we talk every once in a while, we text. It's like, it takes work, just like any other relationship. So now community is so big for me, and it's all because of that accidental. Like, I didn't know how important it was gonna be, and it grew. So now I have an online community. It's called Community Rewritten, and we meet up 3 days a week. And it's like Black women, we just together ready. Like, we're ready to run in, ready to talk, ready to encourage each other. And I've seen how having that community has helped me stay accountable. It has boosted my creativity because I have no choice but to show up every week. And first you're doing it for yourself, of course you're gonna show up, right? But when you have other people, you're like, oh, because they call me out. They'll be like, this ain't what you said. Oh, my bad. Thank you. Let me figure it out. But community now is so important to me. It's like, it feels so good that you can have people you can truly lean on outside of your inner circle. Because, we have our day one. They ain't going nowhere. We ain't breaking up. Like, we together. But then those around that can come and pour in. They can help you in your day one. That's type of community. Like, it doesn't have to be you. It can be an extension of you. And they're down for supporting and down for encouraging and helping. So, community is super important for me.
Definitely. So number 10 is embracing change. And before I ask you on that, last season we talked about how one of the topics in season 1 was like, just setting your day, like, making sure everything's scheduled and making sure that you're like following the things that you said that you were going to do for that day. And you were like, no, that doesn't really work for me. I go with the flow. And then season 2, she was like, it changed. It's like, evolving on how you are gonna do things now. What worked for you back then, what doesn't work for you now, what not. One of the things with heading into healing is that what might work for me might not work for you. What works for you might not work for me. And it's still, both of them are good. Both of them are things that might, still heal us in some way, but maybe not right now. So, has that changed for you? Have you changed, evolved from, putting something on a schedule again, or, partially having it there, partially going with the flow?
I'm an artist. I'm for real like one of those that's like, maybe not today, but then I learned that procrastination thing, what I feel is great. I can get it done, but shit, no, I don't like that shit on myself. Now, I do have schedule. I have altered it like 2 times. Now I feel better where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, this is good. I like this flow. I still want to be productive, but I had to get out of that corporate America schedule. And even though I've been working for myself for a while, it still takes me like, oh, do you have to work Monday through Friday? Are you truly productive working Monday through Friday? No. So do what works best for you. I have been doing this thing, guys. How about you? I've been prepared. So I work on my things months in ahead of time. I get it done. And so when the month is here, I really have more time to chill down. I've been reading books. Got more time to read some books.
I know Ashley knows that.
Instead of being like, oh, I got this. Now I'm gonna read more books. I'm just seeing how if I really use my time and make it quality, I can have more time to just like the art of doing nothing. Because now I've earned it. I'm done. I've got everything. I don't have to feel stressed. So I say yes, it has changed. The first time I was definitely going to flow. Whatever happens, I'll get it done.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't, damn, now I gotta try to tell someone I'm so sorry. I did not get this. And that's the thing too, as you grow, as your brain grows and as you grow, especially if you're in a line of work where people are looking at you as the accountability partner, I had to really make some tough decisions like, do you really want to do this? Because now you can't have ads. So you got people watching, and that helped. It helped me, which was good. I needed that structure. Like I'm learning how to balance that flow with that structure. So yeah.
That's good. That's definitely embracing the change and things. Really quick, tell us about the book that Ashley gave to the panelists. So, Dr. Ashley Wade, she's a big reader, and on season 1, our panelists, different panelists donated different things to give back to the other panelists and whatnot. So, it was like a goodie box that I made for them, which I'll make you guys. Donated a bunch of books, and Tyra got one of the books, and she told me that they implemented it into a book club. So,
Okay, so we got the box, super excited, and opened the book. It was Zora Neale Hurston, Their Eyes Are Watching God. Fun fact, maybe not so fun, I had never read a Zora Neale Hurston book. But my community in Mexico and my best friend, they are avid readers of all these beautiful Black authors. And I was like, I feel so like, kind of like you don't know Anita Simone song, you like, my bad. But I was like, okay, I gotta do better. So I got the book and I read the back first. And I said, wow, this sounds so familiar. Like this story sounds like mine. And that's what made me want to implement the book club. So I took the book with me to Mexico. I said, I'm gonna read it while I'm out here. And I introduced to my community. I said, hey, what you guys think about a book club? They were like, we're down. First book. And everyone, that book is fucking
I'm so
amazing.
happy.
And it literally opened like my eyes. I'm like, I need to read more. I have so many. Let me say this. Let me not put myself, but I got the books. I just ain't reading them. But I need to read them. So it was great. It was a great choice. And she just picked the books and put them in the box. Didn't even know that one was going to be like for me. Her stories. Oh, I was like, wow. So thank you.
Yeah, I kind of read the back a little bit, and I was like, so I had all the books lined up because I had all y'all's boxes. And I was like, let me see which one fits to who, which one could get what. So I read the back as well, and I was like, I feel like this is tired. So I'm so happy that you implemented that, and you guys got not even just you, but so many other people received something from what we were doing. So,
Yes,
I'm
and they
so
had never read it either. So it was like,
So you
yes,
put people on board now.
yeah, and now everyone's like, what's next? So we finished the book, and that's another thing of having community. We finished the book in, we did 5 chapters a week. We finished it, and now we're starting our second book. We're reading, A Year of Yes. And so I just told them, y'all, we're gonna read like 10 books this year. They're like, yeah. Cause everybody wants to, but we don't feel like that's priority. Cause we got, adulting.
Mhm.
But that was such a priority. It literally inspired all of us. And we were like, yeah, we gotta get it. If Jamie and TK can make it, they love each other.
I love that. Yeah, so you guys definitely embrace the change because it's still you, right? It's still Tyra. Every single season, but it's a different you. And I'm so happy that you're able to give us different gems from the different parts of you throughout your journey. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
So we're gonna move over to Xavier. Xavier, tell us a little bit about the topics that you picked were cultivating gravity. Wow, gratitude. So tell us a little bit about that. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts on that. I mean, throughout life itself, it was kind of hard to like really find gratitude. Just from my upbringing. I mean, I'm from Dallas, like I said, but a little bit further in my actual history, like I was in foster care. So I was like raised in the foster care system. Like I got kicked out of multiple, and I ended up had to go to actual living with my family in Seattle, which still felt like foster care. I didn't really know what it was, so they still looked at me as a check and everything. So it felt like a lot of negativity just kept coming in my life, and I couldn't really find gratitude. But all I remember was it's just a smile, and that's like the expression of gratitude. And throughout that, I just like continued to like smile through all the adversity, even though it was just a lot on me. But I just remember all the people that cared, like my uncles, my mom, just continued trying to come back because she was still in jail. At the time, I didn't really know her at all, but I just continued to like find like advice from other people, buying like just the smiles from other people, and I smiled myself. And it was kind of hard. But as I got older, I found writing was more of like really just the outlet, because like when I was in like, say, I know it's a little jumbled, but it's a lot of like history. It's like this is like very emotional for me. But when I was like even like in middle school, I couldn't even find like a good outlet at all. I know it's like I know that I was here, then I got here, then I got there, and that's all I remember. It's like I never really had like foundation, like grounding for myself. Everything was just floating, and I remember like when I finally understood my thought process, and it was just overwhelming. For me, I felt like I didn't want to even be here at the time when I was in middle school. But like I found like my teachers and stuff like that, they found like love in me. So they just kind of like took their time with me, and starting to like journal and starting to write things down and starting to clear my mind and starting to get the clutter out, and then eventually everything just starting to get more clear, and I had an opportunity to do more for myself than my situation, and I can be a testimony to whoever, because like, statistically not a lot of people make it out of foster care intact.
Yeah.
With their emotions, like everything was like dumbed down. Like they didn't want you to express your emotion. They didn't want you to like really like learn or what love is really at the time, at least my experience. So when I get in trouble, I have to go to like literally pick weeds for like hours, which I get blisters on my hands. So like gratitude just came just more towards, just like I said, people coming in. God just blessing me every day. Like even to this day, I mean, I didn't even know I was gonna be a doctor. So I was like, shoot, I just kept going in that narrow path. Like even though like when there's a lot of like resistance, there's just a ceiling that God wants you to go through. You know, when everything tends like it's going in a circle, it's going like all over the place, like a lot of opposition. Like I always tell people, when there's a lot of opposition, there's a higher position that God wants you in.
Yeah.
You know, so I just kept figuring it out. I mean, every day is a, chipping away
Yes.
as I go. But yeah, just like gratitude is like I said, a smile, writing, any type of expression of just love. You know, as we can lean, even though you don't have to say anything, just open a door for somebody. It's like an expression of gratitude, even to yourself, because you love yourself, because you see yourself in that person.
Yeah.
It's a mirror, no matter where you go, and God will always show you like stuff that you got to work on, and it's how it is.
Yeah. So you were telling Tyra something about getting downloads. Who said that?
Oh, that's me.
Okay.
So I recently got into more spirituality, I'd say about 4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm talking like head deep. Because I mean, in the field I'm in, chiropractic is very spiritual more than anything else. Like, because you gotta connect to a person. We are literally in the trenches with these persons every day, being a counselor, a therapist, whatever, And we gotta find a solution to the problem. And as I was finally got my awakening, I used to dream draw. So I used to just wake up at night if I had a dream paper and draw it. And there's a lot of premonitions and a lot of like downloads that God gave me. Even when I was talking about the opposition, there's a opposition, right? That was a download doing like a cold plunge. It was insane. It was just like really realigning yourself to the divine. So we're on this horizontal plane right now. Because a lot of like distractions starting to have us what we call subluxation. In chiropractic means sub is below, lux means light, and station is a state of less light. So as we reconnect people to that light, which is the portal of everything, manifestation, everything like that, people feel like they can do more. I mean, obviously, like when we adjust, like, oh man, I can move my leg better. I can feel it. Yeah, because you're restricted. And life sometimes does that too. Restricts you with all these distractions and stuff like that. But you just gotta continue to realign yourself every day. You gotta refine yourself every day. Just like your actual schedule. You gotta refine it to make it better for that version of who you are. And
Yeah. Yes, I love that.
it's work.
One of the topics from last season, I think it was maybe the last or the first, I don't recall exactly, but it was finding balance. That's very, very important within the healing journey overall. I mean, I think just through life, right? Like we all have to find the balance of what we are at the moment, where we want to be, and how we're gonna align everything to get to that part. So aligning yourself in so many different ways in the sense of the word, like physically and spiritually, and just the goals and all that stuff. That's really good. Tell me about your cold plunges. I know you do that. That's something that you do all the time.
Yeah,
Super scary.
so I call February freeze February because it was so cold. But I accept the challenge. It's like when there's a lot of like pressure and a lot of anxiety, a lot of like things that cause you to hesitate. There's growth beyond that, So when I was hesitant to even do a cold plunge for 28 days straight, no matter what it was, like one day it was like 10 degrees.
Yes, okay. We canceled Colors and Covers that day.
Yeah.
And then he's over there in the pool.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're crazy.
Yeah, because like the body is weird too. Even the mind is it's like what I learned that the body tends to find self-sabotage. It'll always reach in these little corners and stuff. It's okay. You already did it yesterday. You can chill
Yeah, you can
today.
stay in bed.
It just wants you to be comforted.
Yeah.
But that's how the body is. It always protects, and that's what it does. Like when, even I like to use analogies for chiropractic, like when the neck is like stiff and stuff like that, because it's protecting from motion that you done some damage.
Mm-hmm.
Even this, like when I was cold plunging, I was like, man, I didn't even tip my toes, and I just like jump in. Said it's gotta get in there. But as I continue to do it, my fortitude in my mind was even stronger and stronger every day, where I can talk about it. Like, when people ask about it, I say, what's the benefits? Well, I said, overcoming.
Mhm.
You know, you gotta overcome all the fears and stuff like that. Like God never really created fear. Fear is just like man-made.
Yes.
It's in the mind.
Yeah.
As we continue to, absorb all this programming as we're young, because a lot of our personality is not ours. Like
Yeah.
95% is not ours.
Yeah.
5% is on it, what we hold. And as we continue to grow up, you start to figure out that that's not even me.
Yeah.
So you start to regain
Mhm.
yourself over time. That's why a lot of people experience kids be rebellious, because they start to figure out that's not their actual stuff. But that's a lot of false personas put onto them.
Mhm.
Or like I always say, the pot where people put weeds in your pot,
Mhm.
and you gotta keep collecting them out
Yeah.
over time.
Yes. So I really enjoyed knowing that you do that, the cold plunges, because like my son, he was in swimming, and one of the things that I taught him was just like you just have to get in there, like, and we used to get in the pool too, not that cold because you're crazy, but we used to do that too, and people would look at us a little crazy when we would be in the apartment, just like in the pool swimming, and it was like 40 degrees, 30 degrees out there. But it was one of the things I think that taught him, to just jump into things and just not be so scared. And even if you're scared, because once you're in there, the water feels different. It feels like your body gets adjusted to it a little bit. And you're just like, oh, it's not as close as you think. Until you get out and you're like, oh shit, is that cool?
Yeah.
But you don't really feel it when you're in there as much once you control your mind and you're looking at something specific that you're trying to do or whatnot, and you find your new self in there. So that's awesome. I really like that.
I do want to add a couple things. It teaches you how to be present and just still.
Mhm.
And I like to do qigong. Anybody know out there, this energy work, They actually teach you how to control your chi. So when I was in the water, like you just like literally just calm your mind and actually breathe and just be in the moment, and separate all the distractions, and your body eventually starting to generate heat, which I can stay in there longer. And then when I get out, I'm like steaming. I'm not even cold anymore.
Yeah.
Because you teach your body how to go beyond its capacity of your limitations of what the world told you.
Yeah. And then each time it gets easier, right? Like it's not as bad.
Nah, it got easy. I mean, like I said, self-sabotage. It's like, hey man, you good. You don't have to do it today.
Yeah.
You just go do it anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, definitely.
Even water plunges. I mean, not water plunge. Water fast is pretty cool.
A water fast?
Yeah, 4-day water fast.
That you're only drinking water.
Just water for 4
Yes,
days.
I
I did
love
it
that.
4 times. And
I've done it a couple
it's
times.
necessary.
Yeah.
You gotta get your body a break.
Yes, from everything. Honestly, a lot of people tell you that you shouldn't eat when you're sick. Like when you get into certain things, if you stop eating, it really heals a lot of different parts of you.
Mhm.
Because the fasting eliminates all the toxics that you already put in your body. And then it just like, it really kind of aligns on what you actually need, what you're gonna need to put into it next time, like that you actually put something into it. I'm not looking at food the same way as I was before, but right now, right this moment, but I'm gonna get back to it. But one of the things that I learned with nutrition is like you really shouldn't look at food as what like, oh, this is good, I'm gonna eat this, I wanna eat that or whatever. You should look at it as like, what nutrition do I need to give my body? Like the only reason that you need to input something in your body is because you're gonna give it nutrition, the things that it needs or whatnot. So that's great. I wanted to bring up something, because you're the first guy that I'm talking to on here, but I really appreciate you three being on the show. Anthony was supposed to be here, but he's feeling sick, so he couldn't come today. But I really appreciate you guys being here with us today because there's a lot of times that men don't speak on things, period. It doesn't matter what it is. Y'all just, not y'all, but like a lot of men don't speak on things. So we definitely appreciate you guys just speaking because those are things that we need to make sure that our men in our lives do. Even if it's not in our lives, like it's so important for y'all to speak, regardless of what you're talking about, because a lot of the times you guys grow up like man up, stop crying, man up, stop crying, like, and that's not fair because you guys feel emotions too, and it's important for those emotions to be let out. Because then you, like you said, like you growing up in the situation that you grew up in and stuff, you didn't always have that outlet, and you had to find things on your own, and you had to find like thank God that some men or some people came to you and they were able to help you, guide you in some kind of way, but like, some people don't have that. And it's important for us as a community to be able to just tell all men, like, we love y'all and we want you guys to grow, we want you guys to continue. And that's so close to my heart because I'm a boy mom and I only have one kid, and him being a man in the making, it's very important for me to know that there's also other men that will encourage other men to be, outspoken about things, and you can cry and you can talk about things and you can have those emotions and stuff. So I appreciate you guys so much for being here with us today. Can y'all clap that up, please? Because I'm really, honestly, I really appreciate all of you guys for being able to speak on topics that sometimes aren't so easy for people. Um, Even for people in our fields that we actually like to talk about things like this and stuff, sometimes it's even hard for us. So thank you for that. I appreciate you guys. So my next thing, I know we went a little long, but creative expression for healing, that's one of your other topics that you picked. What are your creative things that you do for?
I mean, I'm a chiropractor, so a lot of that is like creative expression, just through healing. This field was called to me, like, where I can actually, create a space for people to actually be their authentic selves. If they gotta come in and cuss or literally let everything out, I hold that space for them. But also, outside of that, I mean, I don't want my actual gift become a job. So I end up painting, I do poetry as well too, like dabble in that. Also just go in nature. Nature teach you a lot of your creative expression as well. Just telling us like through the seasons of life itself. As you can see, through winter there's like really nothing there, just more of like stillness, and then spring is sprouts. And then through summer, I mean, you continue to grow. It just teaches you how to be your authentic self, no matter like what is going on out. You just continue to grow yourself. So you're going out there in nature, you can be still. Like I said, it's all about the stillness, because if you still, your expression fully comes out. Sometimes you don't have to move. Moving's too much, and that's, like I said, clutter. And God wants you to be still in His Word as well. So that's it.
So your last topic that you picked was embracing the change, which is all kind of those three tie into everything that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So, what is one of the tips of how you would advise someone to embrace the change that they're going
That's a good one. Dive on in.
through? Dive on
Honestly,
in.
it's like when you look at people on TV or read a book or whatever, and you see people that you kind of admire or have some type of quote from, they all started from where you at. And nothing's new under the sun. Legit. So just continue to, what Kyrie always say, chop wood and carry water. So continue to be patient with yourself, with your craft that God gave you, the seed that you got from Him, and continue to water it, and continue to be patient with yourself as well as graceful for yourself. Because sometimes we ask for grace, but we forget to give ourselves grace too. So, because even though God continues to bless us, we don't forgive ourselves for the mistakes or missteps and stuff like that. But also just remember, there's really no mistake in life. There's only lessons and blessings.
Yes.
The only mistake is not try again.
Yeah.
So just continue to chip away.
Yes. So now that you said that, one time my son was grounded, and y'all parents know when your kid is grounded, you're grounded too, right? You gotta but he was grounded. He was like almost at the end of his week and stuff, and we were watching this movie, and I forgot who said it, but they said a failed thing is only an opportunity to learn. So you learn and you grow from whatever that thing was that you did wrong, or whatever happened that was not according to plan. So I definitely like to make sure that we have patience with ourselves to just grow, to know that whatever we're going through, it's something that we could learn off of. We don't necessarily have to be down and out about it, because we could find a different way to do it the next time, or just be patient with the growth, with the journey on whatever the topic might be and whatever the situation is at hand. So definitely embrace that. You guys, I totally forgot to send you guys the link for all the topics. You guys could go in there and write in the notes in case you guys want to ask them. So if you go to my page on Instagram, in the bio, it says HHS, and that link is gonna send you to a form. It's a Google form. You guys could go into, just sign into your Google account, and then, just every question has a space for you guys to fill it out. Once you've submitted all the way, like completed all the way through and then submitted to yourself, it's gonna send you whatever you wrote on it. And only you and I are gonna see those things, so go ahead, and if you don't want me to read it, just send me a message and I won't. But that's something for you to just write some notes on there. I was gonna pin it out, but I just saved the trees, so I didn't. But you guys could write stuff in there, and if you wanna just, have a thought on the comments, have anything that they've already talked about, and or just write your questions that you guys wanna ask them. So just FYI. And if you don't have my Instagram, just give me a little and I'll give it to you. But let's talk to Dr. Ashley Wade. Okay, so Ashley, you chose also the art of journaling. So let's talk about that because I know that's something. Oh, and before you start that, I met Ashley at one of her runs for her journal that she has, and the first thing I told my client, because I was there with my client, I was just like, I can't do this today. Like, I cannot read this journal because I'm gonna start crying and I'm not gonna be able to take no pictures. I'm not gonna be able to work. But it was so, it was like an eye opening for me because I feel like sometimes it requires certain type of people to tell me certain things because I feel like it doesn't hit when anyone says it. I don't like to be like, yeah, I know. Like everything you're saying, I already know. Like it's not hitting me in no kind of way. It's not influencing me in any way. So when you were saying certain things from the journal, it really hit. So you guys, everybody check that out, please, because it's very, very enlightening. It helped me a lot, and I love that thing so much. So tell us about journaling.
So journaling is super, super, super therapeutic. And I'm the type of person who likes guided journals. I feel like they challenge your thought process by introducing you to a prompt that makes you think maybe differently than you have before. So my journal is called, it's a journey, a holistic journal for discovering self. So it's more like a baseline. Like for people always would ask me about shadow work. And so when the download came to create something and say it in your words, create space for people to write, and then also challenge the thought, include activities, include book recommendations so people can also learn and not just take my word for something. So that's what that journal is about, but it's more so of like a starting place because people are like, I want to do it, but where do I start? How do I do it? So that's why I wrote that journal as like a baseline, and the chapters are like a process, like a soft process. So it's not an end all be all. You're done at the end. It's more of like a launching pad into whatever you're going to continue to challenge yourself to do or to learn or to think about or change around you. So the goal was to just get you in touch with yourself. Start with freedom of expression, learning that you can be free to tell your story. A lot of people are like, I don't want to tell that, or I'm only going to tell this version. But then you go home and you're depressed about stuff you need to say, or there's somebody that you really want to tell them something, but you feel like you can't. And so like I created that journal for that space, and then I learned too that as Black people, especially with our ancestors, we didn't have a chance to like dump. Mm-hmm. Everybody had to suck it up, get your shit together, fix your face. You know what I'm saying? So you really did get that space to like put your thoughts out there and release, or we barely could talk to each other. We had to work, people on plantation are folks. So like just healing from our perspective, but as well through our DNA, to our ancestors. Like for them who didn't get a chance to tell their story, you get a chance to tell your story the way you want to. You can unpack your life the way you want to, and your perspective is yours. So you start where you start, you own it, and you build into it and grow into your perspective and your conscious awareness. To me, that's how you heal. Because if you think the same thoughts, nothing's gonna change. So at some point you have to think new things But you have to be guided into those new things, because if somebody says, "Oh, here's this book," they're gonna be like, "Oh, that's neat," and put it in their backpack, go in their closet, go to the thrift store. So like, you really have to be. My goal is to be intentional with and patient, because I needed patience at the point in my life when I wrote the journal, and I needed space for myself. So I think that, it's a gift from me to you, but for me to you, but for me. So it's very personal.
I love that. You also chose self-care rituals. Do you want to share some of yours or some that might help us?
Yes, so self-care rituals for me are more about spiritual alignment. So you have to do things that tap you into source. And a lot of those things come from non-traditional, deep places that we don't even get introduced to until later in life sometimes. So like sound bowl healing, Reiki healing, tapping into holistic practitioners who like do the spiritual thing. You gotta tap in with people like that as a baseline. I mean, I think we look at, I always give this example as far as like therapy. When you choose a therapist, you're kind of scrolling. You see a name, somebody that you think you may connect with, you don't know until you get there, like, oh, that girl, whatever. But like, when you come to community spaces like this, you get to see, oh, I think I may wanna holler at Tyra about something, or I think I may wanna holler at Lyric about something. Like, you can get healed through this type of self-care practice. So everybody who came, like, you are building into your own self-care ritual. Maybe that's going to events like this. Maybe that's tapping into your community like this. Like, you have to figure out what works for you. But whatever you do, like, tap in, lean in, be consistent. If you hit your sound bowl every day, do that. And really just tap in and build with your community, because what we don't realize is that our community stretches us. And so, like, if you stay in a silo, that's your business or whatever. Maybe you have some reasons to protect yourself, but overall, like, we heal each other for real, And when you tap into that space, it is self-care. It may not look like it because you may be in community with folks, but that is self-care as well.
And then you also chose cultivating gratitude. So, how are you grateful for things? How do you show gratitude?
Fabulous. From the bare bones. Like, I think people have a difficulty with gratitude because we're always looking for the big thing. When I graduate from so-and-so, I'm gonna be so happy, I'm gonna be so grateful. But it's the small things that kind of build into that you can just have gratitude for and be grateful for. And you can show that different ways. You can say thank you. Hello. People say thank you anymore. You can do nice things for other people just to show gratitude. You can do nice things for yourself and just learn to be happy and content. That's gratitude to me. Because a lot of people are not content. It's always the next thing. Oh, I reached, okay, go, check. Next thing. So when you get a chance to like process that you actually did a thing and you actually accomplished something. And I think that's where we are challenged, because we all want to get the bag. We all want to go, build, plan, all those things. But you do have to take a pause and be like, damn, I can't get that shit. Or like, I did some cool ass shit. And it inspires you to want to do more cool shit. And then when you do more cool shit, you just easily become more gracious with yourself and other people.
Yes. So, do you ever, really quick, just, I feel like both of them's kind of time. Do you ever also do the writing letters to people still? I mean, y'all, I think most of us in the room, we grew up writing notes in school. We didn't have text messages. We wrote notes back and forth, right? Folded them up all cute or whatever, different folds. Yeah, so, do you guys ever apply that into life still? I mean, I know the poets probably still do, but do you write notes to people and stuff? Do you like write letters to be grateful?
I don't really write letters like that, but I do tap into different guided journals. So again, like purposes, like Tyler said, as far as different journals. So my journal is a little bit more deep, but I do have other guided journal recommendations just to kind of tap in with yourself. And then reading. I can't believe I ain't said nothing about reading.
I know, girl.
But like, reading does challenge your psyche, and again, it builds into that conscious awareness. Like, definitely we want to get to the self-awareness part. Facts. But like, if your consciousness isn't available to build on, then you really are closed-minded. And a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I'm open-minded. But when you bring an idea to them, they're like, no. So you're really not as open-minded as you think you are.
Yeah.
So like, when you read and stretch your imagination, then you actually can kind of go to a different place. You kind of learn about how other people live their lives through stories. And I'm a huge person. I like to read about like Black history specifically because we have so much to learn and we have so many cool people who have done so many amazing things, but we're only like taught the handful. Oh, it's only Malcolm, Martin, Rosa. And so like you gain power through reading other people's stories and think there's more to draw from, more to write about, more to connect with, more to add to yourself. Because one of my favorites is Angela Y. Davis. And in her personal story, she was able to defend herself. And it just is amazing to see her defend herself in the court of law and win and get acquitted or something. So I'm like, okay, if Angela can do all this here, what can I do? And then it allows me to do multiple things. That speaks to the gratitude and self-care. Like, you don't have to limit yourself to just your profession. You can tap into whatever you love and build into that, and that brings, more gratitude, self-care. And you can write yourself a letter. You can write your baby self a. Now, I do keep a picture of my younger self. I think she's 3 or 4 in my bathroom. So, like, when I accomplish things, I'm like, you get that, my girl. Or, like, because she's still there. We just grow, we evolve, but she's still there. So I like to realize her and some of my other ancestors. So like when I do things, it's not just for me and us, it's for them.
Yeah, same. I keep a little picture, a little Bella in there somewhere. But yes, I appreciate that. Really quick, let's take a really quick break with the gratitude part because Kim, can you get Fran, please? I want to give gratitude to Fran for having us here today and letting us use her space. When I first came to the space, she wasn't the owner of it. She hadn't transitioned to it yet. But when I came here, I felt like, this space feels so comfortable. It feels so like at peace, so such vibes, right? And then when I came back, like I didn't know that they transitioned. So when I came back, I was just like, girl, I did not know you was here. I did not know this was your space now. But it is such a beautiful place. So one of our topics is showing gratitude. So this is Fran. Y'all clap it up for Fran. She came to a show in Colors and Covers, and I was like, "Hi, who are you? Who did you come to see?" And she's like, "You, girl." And I'm like, thank you." But we want to show you a lot of gratitude for having us here today and for creating a space like this that artists could come and do their thing, and different kind of people could come and enjoy your space and feel the energy that you have here. Yes, and eat. So if you guys haven't gotten anything on the menu, get it because it smells so good. But definitely, we want to say thank you to you and continue to be you and great and beautiful and all the great things. So appreciate you so much.
I appreciate y'all. Y'all mean the world to me. I couldn't do this without y'all. So I know that you guys are grateful for me, but I'm just as grateful for you guys as well. Don't make me cry this morning. Y'all been saying some real dope things on this panel. I've been back here. You know how you be working and doing stuff, you have your podcast?
Yeah.
And then I even got some extra things done, okay? I'm for next week.
Oh.
Yeah, so I just want to say thank you guys again for coming out and being a part of the space and making the space what it is, because like I said before, I couldn't do it without you guys. So I appreciate you.
Can you give them your handle so then they can see the other events that you have coming up?
Yes, so my handle is postpark _ 2 underscores, but then our community is Blacklist _ network.
Yes.
And so those are our 2 platforms. You can rent this space out for like celebrational events, anniversary, birthday parties, things of that nature. You can host events here. We can collaborate if you're a Blacklist member. And then we also allow you guys to come out to some of our events. She was just at our Good Friday last night, and what was it, Friday, right? Yeah, Friday night, and it was a vibe. So we be having monthly events as well, but then we also have where people can just rent out the space and do their thing. I cater. I specialize in packages, so if you need decorations, catering, you need event staffing, whether it's here or somewhere else, we do all the work. So you do in-house work and out-house work. So yes, if y'all need us, just let us know. We're always here for you guys, okay?
Thank you, Fran. So y'all, get some food, please, because she over there cooking. Okay, so let's talk to Vern now. Vern picked almost all the topics on the thing. So he definitely has some things to tell us. I want to start with the topic that we haven't talked about, the importance of nature. Tell us about that, Vern.
The importance of nature. Honestly, I would start with this. If you all take nature walks, if you have it, highly encourage it. Cedar Ridge is one that I do quite often. It's a great place to gather your thoughts. Great place to see other people, just embrace the outdoors. And honestly, with the internet, we start with it. Everybody's kind of went inside. So you get a feeling that you probably haven't felt in quite some time. You just out in your element. And if you have to go by yourself, of course, have some kind of protection with you, of course, because people are crazy. But definitely, go out and just be at peace with yourself. Whatever you need to unpack, whatever it is that you need to think about, sit with, and if you do it enough, before you know it, you're gonna start making progress. So in the process of making progress, and now you're going to the solution side. So you sit with it long enough, and you say, okay, I've done this, I thought about it, I thought this way, I could have done this, could have done that. What's next? Start coming with that, and you just go from there. And sometimes just go and just sit, take your shoes off, feel the grass.
Yes.
A lot of people haven't done that in quite some time. So that's what it gets for me. Anytime you just need some time to be with yourself, you can actually do it in the backyard. You can be in the mud, dirt, whatever it is you got, you just be with yourself.
Yes. I would also say do it in different weathers. Like, do it when it's raining sometimes. Let the water hit you. That would be different.
That comes with other things. Probably get sick, especially dealing with this Dallas weather.
Actually, you could do that in all one day, y'all. Rain, sun, all of it. You don't have to do too much. But that's a great one. I definitely think nature is so important. I love it. I'm an earth sign, so I definitely have to feel the earth and have to be around the trees and touch it. I'm a tree hugger. I'll do that. I don't care where I'm at. If it looks like an inviting tree, I'm like, yes, come on, get out. So definitely explore nature. It's so healthy for us, and we all live. Most of us, I think all of y'all live in the city. Living in the city is so different than being out in nature, right? Like somewhere where we could access it so easily. But it's important for us that we're not so close to it to get out there. So please. So building resilience, tell us about that.
Building resilience.
Can you get right on it?
Where do I start? Honestly. I guess with your left foot, start with the left foot. Go from there. As long as you are going, you're going. That makes sense. That feels like kind of good. I'm trying to expand, be a little more wordy. I'm really a man of minimal words, but I'm working on trying to get more of that out. Having the confidence within yourself, knowing that you honestly be a little arrogant within yourself.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, everybody wants you to humble yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, if you are one of those kind of people, it's gonna kind of push you back. Before you know it, a lot of people that are saying humble yourself, it's more so like, slow down. Before you know it, they're in front of you.
Yeah.
So if you don't have anybody around you that's gonna uplift you, you have to get into the space of uplifting yourself. I used to play basketball and just going around and dealing with other teams. Other players, whatnot, joining other teams. A lot of people, just come in and take my spot. So I'm not really trying to be cool with them and whatnot. So I got to a point where literally, my sister can probably vouch for it. If nobody's cheering for you, cheer for yourself.
Yeah.
So literally, I would literally say, good job, bro. In the middle of the game, and it looks weird, but ain't nobody else cheering for you. Before you know it, you'll find other people that's on your same kind of page.
Yeah.
And how do you keep doing it for yourself?
Yes.
So don't be arrogant and, you know what you can and can't do. So again, sit with that. So if I can't go, I struggle with going to my left, then I'm aware of that. So you need to understand how to get to that point. Get your arrogance level to a level where you are confident in what you're doing, and you go from there. So when you hear the naysayers, it's much easier to disregard that, because I know what I'm capable of.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Yep. I'm a big person on loving yourself, y'all. So if y'all follow me, I'm posting about I love me some me, because it's so important. I think definitely that helps you with building any part of yourself. But making sure that you're showing up for yourself and loving yourself in different ways and knowing where you fall short and the things you got to work on and the things that you're like, still working on building in a different way or just protecting a little bit longer until you get a little bit more strength on it. So for sure, loving yourself in different ways until you build yourself to greatness and the resilience that you really want to show out there. Self-care rituals. I invited Vern because he's very active with things. He likes being physical and working out and stuff like that. And that's something that I've always been into. I don't like really being lazy and just not really doing nothing. I am kind of being a little lazy right now, but we're working on that. So tell us about self-care rituals.
Okay, so I'm not from here. I've been here almost 8 years. It's my sister here recording. I moved in with her, jumped on a leap of faith, and went through the process. If anybody that's a transplant here, jobs, there we go. And just talking with people, mainly family. My father would always say, if you can't work for yourself, you can work for someone, then work on yourself. I always say, what the hell is this like? My bill's still coming, it's not really helping me out with what you're saying, so I got to find this. So, went to the gym. Like, started hitting the gym as much as I could. Being an ex-athlete, I never cared to run. Cardio was never my thing. But if you happen to ever get into it, I would get on the treadmill now and go for hours. You're either going to process your thoughts or you're going to start counting your steps, which is something you're dreading because you ain't going to be there. So your head is going to clear out and you're actually being a little bit more active in that process. So,
Yeah, I love
find communities that have like a Nike Run Club, and it's a Run It Up Dallas or something around here. It's other ways you can find people that can kind of push you in that reference. But yeah, just hope.
Look at Ashley's face.
Not all the time. It's not all the time. You don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that I'm in love with it at this point. That's not what I'm saying. I have run before 5 years. That's about 30 minutes. That's what but yeah, so just getting in there. That's honestly where I do all of mine. I do that, and then when I'm at home, I'm just really just sitting with self, sitting with thoughts. I cut the TV on. I very rarely watch it. It's more so watching me. Just vibing with myself. What are we doing? What are we trying to do? Where are we trying to be? I'm approaching the later end of my 30s, so I have goals and intentions for my 40s. And this is the perfect time to start planning for it. I spent my 30th birthday. I moved in the day before I turned 30. In my sister's parking in front of her garage in my car, just assessing things. So trying to keep everything afloat in the manner that I wanted. So
I love that. Financial wellness. That's the topic we haven't talked about. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm still trying to get it also. If that makes sense. Understand the frivolous spending. It's never really on you. It's always in you. Once you understand that concept, once you understand branding, you notice I'm not everything. I might have spent $200 at best on everything that I have on. Just put that money somewhere else. And if you're really into fashion, whatever you want to call it, honestly, it's hard to find exactly what you're looking for if you're really into fashion. You have to create it on your own.
Yeah. Go thrift stores.
So,
Yeah.
These are just ways of saving and having more put to the side so that you can work towards whatever it is that you're trying to get to. So that would be my advice. I'm still learning a lot of other things as well. So I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say in reference to the financial wellness side as well. But that would be my take to it. Frivolous spending. A lot of people go out and you spending $500 on a bottle that costs $40, $50.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
In addition to, it's not something good for your body.
Yes.
So imagine somebody saying, "Hey, I got this overpriced bottle that's gonna kill you a little while I want it." Look at it a little bit. So that's all.
Yes. So, creative expression for healing. How do you? I mean, apart from nature and the physical working out part of it, how do you express healing, or how do you create?
How about create healing?
Create expression for healing. Creative expression for healing.
I guess that would be in the sense of, I guess, the seeking gratitude throughout the discussing. Start off as soon as you first wake up. Feet on the ground. First I woke up. Thank you for that. Feet on the ground. Thank you for that. You know, able to, all limbs working, I can stretch, move around. Thank you for that. Start as 3, right off the bat. Before Ms. Tara was saying, you know, just pick whatever whatever can help you get your day going, if you will. Find kind ways to deal with people. Like holding the door for a woman. Not all of them say thank you, but that's what we're raised since it's ultimately. The ones that do.
Y'all say thank you.
If you don't get your thank you, then you do it again for another one. Not all of them.
Say your own thank you, like what you did.
I try that sometimes, and then it kind of has a bad effect. But, yeah, help a person. I'm a very big empath to a fault sometimes. So you can read the expression of somebody, your coworker or whoever, and see what kind of day out. I'm a hugger in a sense, but it's more so to kind of feel you out. If you're willing to talk about it, we can sit down and have unpack it if you need to. I find gratitude and being able to help somebody else smile sometimes. And it also can change her day also, just like with her journal. Sometimes she's having a good day, and she opened the old journal and it would show bad times. That's why she separated. It's the same thing with my mind.
Yeah, I
I
like that.
answered the question correctly, I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, yes. Okay, so tell me about the power community that like you're involved with. Because I know that you're part of that group and it's men, which I love, by the way, because like I said, I love that you guys are able to speak on things or whatnot. So how does that community work for you and how do you work for them?
That community is a lot to me. Started a couple years right after I came out here. We all hold each other accountable. So it's almost like a locker room conversation over the Bible. You got younger guys coming in, you got older guys that's been here for quite some time that's coming in. They're dropping gems and passing down ways on how to become a better man for society, for your woman, if you have one, or if you're going towards a different one or whatnot. All of those things. And we're all coming from different walks of life. So at any moment, we'll be reading and something hits them, and we'll sit down and unpack it with them, see where they are, see how we can get them to another spot, or if it's something that you can't get to a spot with you. But we meet every Tuesday, and then we have prayer call every Friday morning. So we hold each other accountable. We have accountability partners. We're in groups of 4. So we're just growing in that kind of manner, trying to make sure whatever your goals are, we push those. So make sure this is what you said you're gonna do, so this is what we're doing.
Yeah,
So
I love
it's
that.
called Kingdom in DFW.
And that's all ages or it's like,
Well, it's literally all ages. So some men have children that come in, of course, they're not in the mix, whatnot. They're not into the conversation, but they're fly on the wall. So they're getting it. They probably won't process it until they're a little bit older.
yeah.
But yes, generally, I think our youngest would be probably, once upon a time, we had a 16-year-old, I think he's a little older now. I say 19, probably to mid-50s, 55, we'll take.
I mean, 16 is still really good, and that's a really crucial time in their lives and stuff, so that's awesome. And what's the name of it one more time?
Kingdom in DFW.
Okay, cool, awesome.
That's the number one.
Yeah, and if you guys need any information, just, you can hit him up to find out a little bit more. Let's move over to Lyric. So, Lyric, one of your topics was, let me see. And if you guys go on the website, Lyric actually gave me a lot of good gems to put on the website. So if you guys go to aswithbayer.com under heading into human with style, the whole page is dedicated to today and these panelists. They're on the board as well, where you can click on there and get directed to their pages, their websites, their information. But Lyric gave us some really good gems and more wording on the topics that felt close to her, which we're gonna talk a little bit about them right now too. But she gave us some different links as well as Dr. Ashley Wade. She gave us some links as well to go to, and if you guys need a little bit more insight or just want to hear or read a little bit more about something that felt close to them. So Lyric, one of your topics was the art of journaling as well. Can you tell me what your experience is or your thoughts on that?
First of all, thank you, everybody.
Hi.
Yeah, so journaling has been something that I've probably been doing since I was a kid. I think the earliest age that I can remember actively journaling, maybe eight or nine.
Oh, that's good.
And I was out, and I had those little cute little pocket journals, with the keys, so I can keep my brother from sneaking in there, looking at my little notes, right? But there was a creative writing class that I was in when I was a young girl, and I enjoyed it so much that that's what prompted me to start journaling in my own journal. So I asked my mom, like, hey, I need a journal, I need something to write in. But as I got older, instead of just writing little doodles like, oh, I like this person at school, stuff like that, as I got older, it became something that I needed to do to release certain thoughts. Because, I think somebody else tapped on that subject earlier, that we don't always have the space to release, to talk about what we're going through, to really break down, all the things that we go through and need to just get out. Sometimes we just need to scream. It just started to become something that I needed to do because I didn't always trust talking to people about my personal shit, and feeling like they were going to protect me and not use it against me. And I'm gonna try to talk a little slower than I probably would normally do with somebody just directly one-on-one, because I will get emotional about this process, right? There are times where we're writing things where we don't share with the world, right? And then times where we know once we finish it and we process the emotions and everything that we were going through when we wrote those things, we realize that we have to share. But journaling is really a personal thing for me. And I don't care what I'm doing. Sometimes I'm driving and I can't write it down, so I turn on my audio recorder and I verbally get it out. And I just think that we gotta do it. We gotta do it because if we hold that shit in, if we hold that stuff in, it comes out in a combustion of some sort. And we're placing a bigger burden on people around us that we don't have to place on them because we didn't find the time to get it out. You know what I'm saying? So we've got to find time to just write those things down. I really love what Tyra was saying about dating and time stamping. I've not done that many times, but I've done it a couple of times, right, with the actual time. Because when you go back and you revisit those things, you realize that at this time of this day, I was at the lowest of my lows, right? And then you might look back at it a year later and say, damn, look at all that shit I was writing before today and all the stuff I overcame to get to where I am right now. It's a beautiful thing to see it, to see all the things that you overcame to get to that next step, right? And y'all gotta forgive me because at the core, I am always about healing. Because I literally went through some very dark times where I didn't have a hug. I didn't have somebody to tell me, you're gonna be all right. And because of that, you realize there are other people in the world that feel just like you, just like you. And so you have to share those vulnerable times, those vulnerable pieces. Even if you don't share it all, just a pinch of it sometimes. will really, really, really help somebody else cross over those hurdles, right? So yeah, I don't wanna get too deep, cause I know Bella was like, we gonna be on some time.
Girl, talk. Forget the time.
I'm a very vocal person, like I can be over elaborate with certain things, even when I'm writing, poetry, songs, sometimes I have to go back and re-edit so many times because I've said so much that I'm like, I can't, that's too much of an overload, I gotta take some of this out, right? And even in like certain posts, sometimes I make posts where I'm just releasing, right? And I'm just sharing something because I know somebody needs to hear it. I have to go back and Instagram we only can type so much. They're gonna cut you off and be like, you ain't got no more room, shit. You know what I'm saying? So I have to remind myself to slow down and get the important pieces out, right? So that people really receive what you're trying to give. But I cannot express how important journaling is. And even if you never intend to share it with anybody but yourself, it's a reminder that lets you know that you got through that shit. You got through that shit and you didn't have the times where you thought you weren't going to get through it. You actually have something to prove that you got through it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yes. Girl, you can talk as much as you want, okay? I want to give you a hug right now. I definitely appreciate that because I know that a lot of people don't get hugs. And alone, I know that for women, we need about, I think it's like 8 hugs a day to feel regulated, to feel normal in 8 a day. And sometimes you don't even get one. So we over here walking around like we crazy, y'all. Y'all be thinking, why? We need a hug, goddamn it. But I definitely appreciate you saying that because there is a lot of people that don't have that and that need it. And just overall, sometimes we can't even say it. Like honestly, we can't even say it. I know that's kind of a space where I think about that a lot because I don't like people touching me all the time, a lot. So I don't get the ability or the help that I need with just along with getting embraced like that. So I probably handle it a little bit better than some other people might, and they're probably struggling a lot more than I am on that thing. But for sure, just putting it out there and letting people know that, you've been in that space or you sometimes are in that space. It gives them probably the courage to also tell someone that they trust or they love or whatever, like, I need a hug today. That's all I need. Maybe a little 5 or 6, but it's very important for us, even for us to speak on it because it gives other people the encouragement to speak on it as well. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, I'm an intentional hugger, like everybody.
Girl, oh my God, if you guys have never received a hug from Lyric, it is bomb. Whenever she comes into the show and she hugs me, I'm like, yes, I needed that. Because it feels like a mom hug. Like, when you haven't seen your mom in a long time and it just feels so good. But definitely, I subscribe. I mean, the prescription for yourself is a hug from Lyric, please. Okay, the next one that you picked is creative expression for healing. So I know that you're a poet, and then that's one of the ways that you express yourself. Do you have other ones that you use apart from poetry? If not, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Oh yeah, I dip into a little bit of everything, but poetry just came at a time where I was being challenged to conquer a stage fright. I've always written poetry, but I had never shared it up until that point. 2019 was the first time I got on the mic to share my personal poetry, right? So my close friends knew that I was writing, but I've never shared, and somebody snuck me on an open mic list, and I was there to support them. And when they called my name, y'all, I was like, it must be another lyric in here. Cause no, I'm not doing that. No. Like, yeah, you is. But, I did it. And it was a whole nother year before I did it again, but after that, I consistently challenged myself to do it. Outside of poetry, I'm a singer, songwriter. I also dip into painting sometimes. But fashion, wardrobe, right? Creative expression. Used to, if y'all remember growing up as kids, like, that don't match.
Oh,
That does not go together. It go together if we say it go together.
Right. I'm pulling it off.
I looked at some of my pictures as a kid, and I realized, like, I was really putting stuff on that people probably thought didn't go together then. But I had my polka dot shirts and my striped pants on, and I'm like, what the hell am I wearing? But as I got older, I realized, like, really, that's our way of expressing ourselves. So we might feel like polka dots up top and stripes at the bottom, like, and then I'm a thick girl, so, they like to say, don't wear the lines going this way, right? Because that's gonna make you look wider. I don't give a damn. If that's what I want to put on, I'm gonna put it on. So I would just say, like, really, as far as creative expression is concerned, it doesn't have to look like what people say it needs to look like, right? In anything, whether it's fashion, writing, whatever. Like, even with the poetry realm, for me, I follow and I'm inspired by so many different poets and writers, and all of the styles are different. But me personally, I'm even more different, right? I don't write with poetry in mind most times. Unless I'm hired and commissioned to do something, then I have to write on that subject, right? But all my poetry stems from my journaling. I just write. And if a poem comes out of what I'm writing, then there it is, right? With the singing, because I usually infuse my singing with my poems most times, that's a way of bringing me down, like getting me ready, because I'm still nervous every time I pick up a microphone, even right now. I don't like holding microphones. Everybody will tell you, give me a microphone stand, because if I hold that microphone, I might drop it, But it's just do what feels good. Do what feels good. If you look in the mirror and you like what you see, that's that. Who cares what they say? Who cares what anybody else thinks or feels? Do what feels good to you. But yeah, some of everything. I'll try anything new. And I love traveling too. So I can see what other people are doing that we don't normally interact with every day. Because you find joy in so many different things, and you learn that, oh, you know what? I think I want to try that too, right? So yeah, I do everything.
And sorry, y'all.
The power of community, that was your other topic. Tell us about that.
First of all the topics were so damn good. I hit Bill up and I said, I don't know if I can pick 3 topics, 3 major topics, right? And I really didn't, but these were the top 3. Community. I would start by saying, as a child, I remember wanting to always help everybody. And there's always one particular moment of my life that sticks out when I think about who I am as a person. Y'all remember the Jehovah's Witnesses that used to come knocking at your door? Any time of day, you'd be like, what do they want? Right? We always like that. Here they come again. But I still didn't want to be mean, right? So the Jehovah's Witnesses came to our door one day, and my stepdad was like, get away from her. We don't need the hair, we don't need that, we already got 10 of them, And I was like, so heartbroken, because he was so mean. I thought he was so mean, he really probably wasn't that bad, but to me, it was so like, what? Why'd you do that? Because I always want to be kind and just, make somebody feel good. I think that's why community is so important to me, because I feel like when we get together and we do stuff together, no matter what it is, even if it's not like something like what we're doing here, just getting together, just talking and being in community with people and in fellowship with other people, it makes us feel like we're not in this alone, right? We want our friends and family to be our biggest supporters, but they really are never, right? Never. I mean, to this day, I have a best friend that has not been to any one of my shows, and for various reasons, right? Very good reasons, because I do have to make sure that I'm giving people grace too, because life be life. But it's not what we expect from our friends and our family. We expect them to be like, we don't come to everything, you know, and we want them to, but we realize at some point that it's just not gonna happen. We build our best relationships in community. And because I'm such a giver and always wanting to help, I need that. I have to be in community because that's what makes me feel good. And so I just feel like it's just something where you have to place yourself in spaces that are in alignment, you know, with where you want to be or where you're at or whatever that looks like, right? And sometimes even the spaces that you're afraid to go into because you don't feel like you're good enough or you don't feel like you belong. Because we like really our biggest critics, right? We be tearing ourselves down in 1 minute and encouraging another in the next minute, right? It's like, are you even listening to your own advice? But when you're in community, there are other people that's gonna pour it back into you, right? When you like somebody like me, you always pouring out. So if you don't have nobody pouring back into you, you empty. You empty. And I heard something, one of my good friends shared something with me, where a gentleman was speaking about pouring from your overflow. We like to say, just don't let your cup go empty. But you got people in community that so much in your cup that you have an ample supply of overflow. You ain't never run out of job. You ain't never run out. So you gotta put yourself in spaces where you are constantly being poured into. Because that cup will never need to go empty if you intend on pouring out, right? So community is what does it for me. And I will involve myself with a multitude of things. Like sometimes I'll be like, girl, you doing too much. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day,